Okay, everybody, we are in the limelight, and after much ado of trying to get this whole darn thing to work, we are actually here. We're here with Dr. Hal Simeroth, and I'm excited to talk to you about today because we're going to be talking skin and skincare and lots of exciting things that he does around research and development and has been doing for quite some time. But what an exciting thing to be able to help people the way you do, Dr. Simeroth, and especially your daughter. Tell us about that story.
Yes. I appreciate you bringing that up. It was a very nice synchronicity there between the work that I had been doing for several years in helping to restore skin that had been somewhat ravaged by usually age, but also by many environmental factors. And of course, chemotherapy is a very ravaging thing to the skin.
Mm-hmm.
In July last year, in 18, my daughter was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. Young woman in her mid-40s with 2 small children.
Right.
And a very devoted husband and a really strong career in the geoscience world. And suddenly she was struck with this. She had a tumor about the size of a small grapefruit in her chest.
Wow.
And needless to say, this was extremely distressing for all of us.
Of course.
And my daughter, if you saw a picture of her, and I'm not bragging, she's a beautiful woman.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a lot of hair, and first thing she thought about, I'm going to lose my hair.
With the chemotherapy, you mean? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to have issues in premature aging due to the
Like my
chemo.
skin. Mm-hmm.
And so it was a real blow for her and a tough thing to have to address and deal with.
Right.
At the same time, interestingly enough, and coincidentally enough, although I don't necessarily believe in coincidences, but
Right.
she was concerned about her overall appearance because this can be a real downer. When you're already going through chemo, when you're already
sure.
suffering, you want things to help lift you up and make you feel better about yourself. And so I had been working on a special stem cell complex for about 2 years and had just applied for a patent for it, as a matter of fact. And this was aimed at activating all of the various stem cells that are in your skin to sort of wake up and behave as they did when you're a younger person. And so I talked to my daughter, and even though I hadn't, the product wasn't on the market and there wasn't anything really available yet, I put some together for her and asked her to start using it after she was about 2 months into her chemo at that time.
So it was something that was already in the works. You were already sort of working on this cream, if you will.
And it was going to
called Stemology, correct?
Yes, it was going to come out later as a product for Stemology Skin Care, but it hadn't been released yet.
Right.
So I asked her just to try this. I felt like it would help. I knew how much chemo ravages. Chemo is aimed to destroy rapidly producing cells. And skin stem cells, because they're constantly reproducing new cells, because our skin has to be rejuvenated all the time, they're rapidly producing cells. So it goes after them as well. It goes after our skin stem cells. And so my daughter Kristen began to use this, and she wrote a little article about it, but she immediately, within a month to 6 weeks, began to notice how much her skin had improved. Her little daughters, my granddaughters, both said, "Mommy, you look beautiful."
Oh.
And it was just a real up experience for her. Continued to use it, of course, through the entire bout of chemo, which lasted about 6 months. And she ended up, she said, with better looking skin than she had prior to chemo.
Wow.
That's a over. So it was a great feeling for me. And, you know, sure, this is a product that I hope to sell, or the company hopes to sell, but
Mhm.
if I didn't make one dime from this, it would have been worth it to
Oh,
do.
that is the sweetest thing ever. That is such an amazing story to be, I mean, how many people can say they have a father that can just jump over to the lab and I'll be right back. And I think, I think I have the, the
Right.
elixir for you and we're going to fix you. This is a lovely story. And I absolutely want to continue the conversation with Dr. Hal Simeroth, Ph.D. He is an expert in skin care, skin research. Love talking to Dr. Sal Himeroth. We're going to be right back, everybody. Don't go away. Hey everybody, Clarissa here. I wanted to talk to you about audible.com and why. Well, you can get countless amounts of books on audio. Just listen to them. Who has the time? I don't, to stop and read all the books that I want to read. But, I'm always in the car. I'm always traveling either from Phoenix to Las Vegas or out to San Diego, LA. I've got plenty of time in the car that I can be listening and learning, or listening and enjoying at the same time. So I've decided to affiliate with Audible. It's what I love to do, is listen and learn. So why don't you do the same? And they've got it in different languages. So it's not just English. I know there's Spanish and other languages as well, that you can go in and pick all kinds of different titles, all kinds of different books, and listen to them. And for me, I, again, love learning. It's the quickest way for me. It's the easiest way for me. It's the most affordable way for me. So go ahead. You can get a free trial. I'm going to send you to clarissaburt.com/audible. Go there now. You will not be sorry. Everybody, we're back in the limelight with Dr. Hal Simeroth, and he just told us a really heartwarming story about how he was able to help his daughter with her skin issues after her bout with chemotherapy. We have a happy ending, I understand.
That's right. She is cancer-free.
Oh, that's great.
And she went in for one final, what they call PET scan, is a way to check and see if there are any living cancer cells. And she was completely free, and they told her, you don't need to come back for a long time.
Wow.
So it was
How
a great,
exciting is that?
great piece of information. We were so happy.
Oh, that's really extraordinary. Well, now there's a lot of other things that you do, have been doing for many years around skincare, as I said, skin research. I'm assuming product development, because I think you've worked for other companies as well. And there are 4 myths that you like to talk about when it comes to sun damage and skin. Yes. Can you elaborate on those for us?
Well, sun damage is obviously the single biggest aging factor for us. Of course, we age intrinsically within our bodies, but the damage the sun does prematurely ages our skin greatly. And we do need to have good protection. And the very best protection is to stay out of the sun, obviously.
Right, exactly.
But that's not practical. So people often rely on various types of sunscreen to help them. They use shade, of course, to help them. They do other things. Antioxidants also are great help. But in general, some of the things that people believe are just incorrect. Number one, if you're shading yourself, then you're safe. And that's just true. There's reflection and additional UV that bounces off of other things that still bombards the skin. Obviously, it's not as bad as direct sunlight. But if you think you can stay 5 or 6 hours in the shade, it's just wrong. In Southern California, we have a lot of overcast at the beach. Right. People are out at the beach for hours and hours thinking they're fine, and they get very badly burned.
Right. So there's myth number 1.
Yeah,
myth number 2, I understand, is you have to be out in the sun for a while to get skin damage. In other words, it has to be a prolonged exposure. Yeah, not true. After 20 minutes, you're already into what I call the redness zone, where you're starting to turn your skin red. And from that point on, you continue the UV exposure, and it just makes it worse and worse. So anything over 20 minutes is immediately going to begin to cause damage. And is that for all skin types? That's for all skin types. That's true. Even though our melanin,
with our various shades of brown that we all have.
Mhm.
I'm about a medium brown, but even though the melanin is there to help protect, um, it doesn't completely protect. It just doesn't.
Right.
That's why anyone from a very dark shade of chocolate brown to a very light shade of brown, no matter what, that UV radiation is going to damage the cells in your skin.
Right. Here's another one. And I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by this. You won't get sun damage if you wear sunscreen. So a lot of people are going out and slathering on, and
Yeah,
I'm good to
yeah,
go. I put on my sunscreen,
right. Yeah,
and that's a
yeah,
myth.
just not true. You will get blockage from sunscreen, no question about it. Your factor 30 sunscreen will give you about a 93% blockage. Factor 50 will give you about a 95, 96% blockage.
Right.
But if you stay out there for a long time thinking that the sunscreen is protecting you, that 20 minutes that I mentioned earlier
Right. Right.
can happen because over time, over 3, 4, 5 hours, even the 10% or 8% that's getting through the sunscreen
Hmm.
will cause damage and premature aging. The other issue too is that usually when you're out in the sun, there's perspiration, there's sometimes water things going on with the beach or the pool or whatever.
Right.
Uh, that sunscreen does not stay on well. Despite many of the advertisements, it will come off with water and wash off.
Right.
So you may think that it's protecting when it isn't. So there's both of those issues that can, even with sunscreen, cause damage.
Right. And here's another one. You're only really at risk for sun damage in the summer months. You're good to go in the winter.
No, not so.
No.
As a matter of fact,
No.
even in the winter when the sun is out, that UV is going to cause damage. You cannot escape it. Summer, winter, fall, doesn't matter. You just need to stay out as much as you can. Stay in a shade, wear a wide brim hat, use the sunscreen, do all those things. But if you're going to stay out for more than an hour, it's going to cause some damage. There's no
Right.
questions.
All right, everybody, you are in the limelight. We are with Dr. Hal Simeroth, and I'm enjoying this conversation because all of those myths, who knew? All right, we're going to be right back. Do not go away because we've got more coming.
Hi, I'm Scott Sullivan. Most of you know me as the host of Mind Your Own Business right here on InspiredNewsRadio.com. I hope that you know that Inspired News Radio is a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week positive talk radio station. That's what we need right now, is more shows that are designed to inspire, inform, educate, and motivate the world right here on InspiredNewsRadio.com every week. Brand new shows and great show hosts. I'm sure that you'll find something that you love. Continue to listen and please support InspiredNewsRadio.com.
Everybody, we're back in the limelight. As Dr. Hal Simeroth and I have been having this chat. I'm hoping that you're getting a lot of great information about how to protect your skin, summer, winter. Don't believe in the myths. Keep the sunscreen on. One thing that I did want to ask you, though, Doctor, is we hear a lot about sunscreen toxicity, that it's very toxic to our bodies. What say you?
Well, I'm probably a little bit of a radical in that I only design all natural cosmetic products. And so I have a real problem using ingredients that are synthetic, and especially ingredients that don't have a long track record of usage. There are some chemical sunscreens out there that I would not use personally in a product. They have not been long-term tested. Only a couple of them are actually approved by the FDA.
Exactly.
And some of those chemical sunscreens we now know when used in the beach areas, in the water, in the areas where there's a lot of people,
Right.
they actually damage the coral reefs, which is not cool. So I would stay away from any chemical sunscreen. Both zinc oxide, titanium dioxide are proven natural mineral sunscreens. They do work. There are products available with those out there. So I would highly recommend that you stay with a natural organic.
So read the product label.
Yes.
Okay. Make sure to read the product label. I don't know if you want to mention any names or stay away from that, but definitely read the product label. And if there's a bunch of chemical stuff in it,
Yes.
don't buy it. Right?
Yeah. You have to, on the label, for a sunscreen product, the FDA requires it to be listed as an active product, as an active ingredient in the product and used for sunscreen. So you can look at those, they're right at the top. And if it's not zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, I would stay away from it. That's my opinion, but I don't want to get into.
No, I understand. No, I understand. I totally get that. That makes perfect sense. The other thing that you tell people to stay away from are the skin brighteners or the hydroquinone. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes. Hydroquinone is a proven destroyer, ultimately, of your melanocytes, which are the cells that produce melanin, which is the pigment that we all have. It has long-term negative effects, and I would definitely tell anyone to stay away from that.
Right.
There's a lot of natural brighteners out there from both plant phytochemicals and herbals that can do the job for you quite well. But hydroquinone is one that I would never put in a product myself.
So let's talk about Stemology a minute. Let's talk about your product line. How it came about, how long has it been in the works? Where can we find it? That sort of thing.
Well, it's been around for some time. It actually started in some research work at the University of Texas in Austin. I was managing a research project there, part of which was about developing artificial skin for burn victims. Out of that research, I turned to stem cells. This was back in 2005 and 6, when stem cells were really beginning to get going. And with 2 other medical researchers, we went to work on some solutions that might be quite useful from using human stem cells. Out of that technology, we developed our first product and had some real good success with it. From that, we moved on to the Stemology product line, which came out in 2013, which had some additional ingredients that were quite useful with the stem cell technology. And then just recently, in 2017, this newer patented technology that I was talking to you about earlier has just come out, and the latest Stemology products have this SRC7 complex, which is a complex of mostly phytochemicals from plants that wakes up your own stem cells in your body. Most people don't know, but we have a huge array of stem cells in our skin. Some of them at the bottom of the epidermis, some of them at the bottom of the hair follicle in the dermal region, and then millions of them in the hypodermis, which is that fatty area that cushions your skin right at the very bottom. These stem cells are there to help with trauma, such as burns or cuts or wounds. They're also there, of course, to fight aging. The problem is, as we get older, these stem cells get sleepy, they get dormant. They don't work that well anymore. So the SRC7 technology is designed to basically wake them up. Sort of like giving Red Bull to somebody, you know.
Got it. It's the Red Bull for your skin. Okay. Exactly. So you have, as I understand, you have the Cell Refresh Hydrating Cleanser. There's also the Cell Rescue Active Gel Toner, the Cell Revive Brightening Serum, and these products can be found at stemologyproducts.com. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, that is really exciting. Anything else that you want to leave our listeners with so that they'll know more about how to take better care of their skin. We've told them how to go and find the product. I really hope everybody does give it a try. And I've got some on the way. Thank you very much, by the way.
Yes,
I can't wait for
yes.
my package to arrive. So
I hope
can
you'll let
choose
us know how it goes with it.
yeah, that's really, thank you very much for that. So parting words, we've got a little more than a minute.
Well, I would say essentially stay away from UV as much as you can. That includes tanning beds, of course, as
Right.
much as it does sun.
That's right.
Use good skincare products. And you, in your Arizona climate, you're in a dry climate. And if you're in a dry climate, you have to be extra careful about keeping your skin hydrated and moisturized, because that is the second most aging element behind sunlight is dryness. And so be sure to keep your skin hydrated. Be sure to use good quality products that have all natural bases.
And that would be Stemology, I'm sure. So we're going to all
Yes,
rush to the Stemology product. Stemologyproducts.com, everybody. That's where you're going to want to go. Loved having the chat with you, Dr. Simeroth. Thank you so much for your time. I know you've got to get back to work, so we're going to leave you be now. And thank you once again for your time.
Yes, take care.
All right.